At Samsung, we're driven to invent meaningful breakthroughs. And these days, we essentially live on our phones, right? Our screens are the windows to our worlds. But despite all the progress we've made, the size of our screens is still fundamentally limited by the size of our devices. Until now.
Hey, if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. Why do manufacturers release new smartphones every year? Do people really buy new phones annually? Isn't there a huge influx of smartphones in the market? Yes, I probably know your answer to the headline of this video is profitability, but there is more to that. Mobile phones have played a pivotal role in our daily lives. From being able to communicate with friends and family miles away to being able to do literally anything possible through the internet. We cannot underestimate how important it is to have these little devices in our pockets. We have reached a certain stage where having a mobile device is considered a necessity. I can still picture people's reaction when I told them I had no mobile phone during my younger days at school, or how they treat you because you had none. This is a realistic representation of its reception. PCs and desktops have been the market leader in sales over the years until late 2016 when mobile phones took over. Ever since then, mobile phones have been growing continuously, extending its lead as the most demanded digital device. Mobile phone innovation has gone through drastic changes over the years. Features such as display quality, camera, wireless charging, battery performance, sound system, to mention but few. These improvements have led to mobile phones having enough computing power to do things we could only do with our full-fledged computers. At a personal level, my best moment in the phone industry is probably during the time of the Nokia series. Nokia was the king of mobile phones in the early 2000s. During the year 2007, they controlled about 47% of the phone market. Do you remember that legendary handheld animation when you switch on your phone? Yeah, those are the classic moments. What made Nokia a market leader is not just the brand, but it's the simplicity and rigidness of their phones that gave it an edge over other phone brands. There were other phones that were also making waves in the market. Phones like BlackBerry, Motorola, and LG represented a luxury phone segment. The phone market has fully transformed into what we now call smartphones. Smart because features have been added to expand what a phone does. As I've mentioned previously, phones now have enough computing power to do computer-related tasks. But it's not just that. The SMART in smartphone is actually an acronym which means self-monitoring, analysis, and reporting technology. This basically means that your smartphone is capable of monitoring and analyzing its performance. Where there is a failure, it sends back information to its manufacturer to rectify through debugging or through issue of an updated software. Some other elements that create the notion of a phone being smart are Bluetooth connectivity, GPS function, 3G, 4G, 5G network, Wi-Fi connectivity, installation of third-party programs, sending emails, and more. For clarity, this video is narrowed down to only smartphones since it's the prominent type of phone issued to the market over the past decade. The smartphone revolution started when Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone 2G in 2007. The iPhone 2G is not the first smartphone to be made, but it gave a better perspective of what a smartphone should look like. Who would have thought that the best smartphone concept should be just a box with a screen occupying more than 70% of the phone's front display? Being the first to launch such a spectacular device gave them an advantage over the entire market. The operating system also played a huge role to attract the attention of mobile lovers as it showed a better means of operating a mobile device. The key word is simplicity, and Apple was able to achieve that. Apple has been able to maintain its strong position in the market even though there are other prominent players in the market like Samsung, Huawei, Xiaomi, Oppo, and Vivo. The top two spots have been mostly occupied by Apple and Samsung, showing intense competition between the two brands. The pandemic caused a decline in smartphone sales in 2020, but during Q4, the market was able to rebound by 8%. With the current standings, Apple is the market leader with a 21% share, while Samsung is second with a 16% market share. This was the opposite in Q3, with Samsung having a market share of 22%, whilst Apple had an 11% market share. The outrageous demand in smartphones has led to a growing concern of waste problem. E-waste representing waste from digital devices such as computers, mobile phones, printers, televisions, and much more. Due to poor strict monitoring of waste disposal, these electronic devices are expected to be discarded after its useful life. Majority of what is labeled as e-waste are actually not waste, since some parts of the device components are marketable or can be recycled. However, most users are unaware of the gold mine available in selling parts of these devices, or probably just do not care about them. Considering a US study, e-waste represents 2% of the country's landfill, but it equals 70% of overall toxic waste. This is an alarming problem that needs to be addressed. Smartphones contain high amounts of precious metals such as gold and silver. According to the same US study, Americans dump phones containing about 60 million worth of gold and silver each year. In spite of all this data, why should smartphone manufacturers still release new phones every year? Smartphone sales have been skyrocketing over the past decade, mostly due to the yearly release of new smartphones by manufacturers. In 2020, about 1.38 billion smartphones were sold worldwide. It is quite a significant decline, as in Q1 of 2020, the global smartphone sales fell its fastest ever, down 13% year over year. It is the first time since Q1 2014 that smartphone sales have fallen below 300 million units in a quarter. The cause of the decline, not surprisingly due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Mobile World Congress, a conference where smartphone manufacturers launch new releases, had to be scrapped out due to coronavirus concerns. Other events also had to be moved online, just like what Apple did during the launch of the iPhone 12. In reality, there is actually little demand for new phones. These demands are manufactured by the companies. They know that people are always willing to buy new phones to upgrade the old ones. Unfortunately, phone manufacturers are more interested in making more phones since they can make more money. Apple have been sued and agreed to pay $500 million in damages for intentionally slowing down old phones so as to boost sales of new ones. Some more detailed reasons why there is a huge influx of new smartphones in the market are: competition. Businesses operate to exist into the unforeseeable future, and one major way to accomplish that is to ensure that they are among the top innovators in the market. Nokia was a giant in the phone business during the mid-90s to early 2000s, until Apple came in with a disruptive device, in the process changing the face of the phone industry. If Apple, for example, decides not to release a new device in a year, a competitor like Samsung or Huawei would release a device that could be miles ahead in terms of technological features. There are about 237 smartphone brands in the world as of 2020, and that is enough threat to your business if you are not constantly innovating. Basically, speaking to manufacturers' team, new smartphone release equals a better smartphone in the market. Stock price performance. Investors are always a key player in a company's success. As an organization, you need funding to finance your daily operation, but most importantly, investing in market research. To attract more investors, you have to make sure that your share price stands a chance of increasing over the years. This can only be achieved if you prove your corporate worthiness through outperforming your competitors in the market. Investors are speculators and are always looking for companies that promises the best yields on their investment. Am I in support of companies having annual smartphone releases? Nope. Smartphones have an average lifespan of 2 to 3 years. And besides, Software updates are available to ensure that phones run smoothly through improvement of the user interface, enhancing security and removal of minor bugs. It is just like changing the engine oil of your car. I see no reason why I would buy new phones every year. Besides, I still use my 2016 iPhone as my daily driver and it still serves me pretty well. There are still minor deteriorations like battery performance, but it can still handle my daily mobile activity. Is there something that could be done to minimize new smartphone release? Of course, just like the central bank that regulates the supply of money, the smartphone industry can adopt the same concept. I want to reach a target of 100 subscribers by the end of April, so if you enjoyed watching this video, please subscribe to help me reach this goal. If you have suggestions for my next video or want to add something to this one, please use the comment section. Do not forget to also share. See you next time. Peace.